So, as I mentioned to you, we learned already about CRUD. Okay, so what is CRUD? So we know that CRUD is create, update, read, and delete. Create, read, update, delete. So whenever you use the SQL, we learn about the SQL. We use the insert, select, update, and delete. In the HTTP, so we use the REST framework. We will use put or post for create. We use get to read the data. We use put, post, or patch for the modification, and destroy for deleting. Now, this is the generic view of the REST framework. We use two, which is the list API view and retrieve API view. So we can use the destroy API view. Destroy means delete only. Update API view. So it means we can update only. Please create API view. So it means we can read and write. So create, it means we can insert a new value. Retrieve update API view. So we can read and update. We can retrieve and destroy API view. So we can read and delete. We can retrieve, update, destroy. So we can read, write, and delete. Now, let's try to change. Okay. So here I give you a guideline. So change this method. At first we use the list API view. Now let's use the list create API view. In this case, I use the retrieve API view. Now let's change it to retrieve, update, destroy API view. Views.py. Okay. So this one, let's change it to this. This create API view. And then for this one, let's change to retrieve, update, destroy API. So we change the function. And let's see. So when you refresh this one, now you will see a new format. So you look at the below part. Now you can have a new data. So you can create a new data. So before we just see the list. Now let's have a new data. For example, port post. Maybe I don't know, academic work. So if I post this one, now it goes to a new data. The new data is ID number 4. The title is fourth post. And then the content is academic work. And this is the title. So if I click post, and yeah, I will see. Oh, two times, sorry. It's okay. Yeah, I have fourth post and then I have another post fourth post because I clicked two times. So now the data has been added. This is the new data. And yeah, this is the new data. So it means using this web page, I can do directly the communication with the database. So I don't need the backend. I don't need the SQL. You can just use the REST API. So let's say I want to connect to the ID number 5. Okay. So if I connect to ID number 5, now I can also delete. I can also put. Put means I can modify. Now I know that this is number 5, so I will change this one not 4, but 5th. So this is the 5th post, and then the content, maybe I will just use the academic world 2. Then if I put this one, now let's see. If I go to the list, yeah, you can see that now the data has been changed. The data is now the ID 5 and the title is 5th post. Now the content is academic work 2. The data was created at this time and then it was updated at this time. So the timestamp will be saved and then we know about the modification. So if you want to know about the data more, you can use the raw data. So the raw data, it is in the format of JSON. Okay? Because it is to create a new data, so that's why it is empty. So let's say if I want to see the data number 4. Okay? So the data number 4, it will be in the JSON format. So ID number 4, the title is 4 post, the content is academic world, and then this is the time. So you can have puts or you can have pets. Okay. So it is just to put a new detail. Okay. So here we have the option. Okay. You want to see the JSON? This is the JSON format. If you want to make it as a pretty print, you can see in the kind of tree. Or if you want to see in the API, so this is the API format. Let's suppose I want to have only 4. So I want to delete the ID number 5. Then I can go to ID number 5. I can go to ID number 5 and then I can delete it. So are you sure? Do you want to delete this post? If you delete, then if you go back to the original file, you have only the ID 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So it means you can try with different kind of functions. So this is the API view. Different functions will give you different method. For example, if you use the retrieve update, then it will be only retrieve update. If you use retrieve destroy, then it will be only retrieve and destroy. So that's why whenever you put at your website for this REST framework, it depends on your role. If you are a client, then you can update. If you're not a client, then you can only see, and so on. Okay, so we already did this one, and yeah. So that's about the REST framework. Any questions? Okay, the last section in this slide, actually, it is more complex things. It is about the Ajax. Or there's also another way for accessing the website. We call it feeder. But at the end, I will teach you about Ajax, what is Ajax and how can we leverage Ajax. So what is Ajax and what is parse? and we will use fit parser parsing JSON, and we will use the JSON external view and the basic Ajax. So what is Ajax? We call it Ajax is a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So Ajax is not a programming language. Ajax just use a combination of browser built in XML HTTP requests. It is to request data from a web server and JavaScript and HTML DOM. So you already know the DOM is the document object model. It is to display or use the data. So people say that Ajax is developer's dream because you can update a web page without reloading the page. Do you know what does it mean? Reload. Reload means whenever you want to get the data or whenever you want to access the data from the server, you need to refresh the web page or you need to refresh the web browser. For example, in this case, if I want to get the new result, I need to refresh. So I can get the new data. But using the Ajax, you do not need to refresh. Every time you do something and you click, then it will automatically get the new data. Request data from a server after the page has loaded, and we can also receive data from a server after the page has loaded. And we can send the data to a server in the background. So we don't need any computational resources to do the data sending and data receiving. So how the Ajax works. First, from the browser, it will connect to the server, and the connection is using the XML HTTP request. So there's another kind of request. Okay. If you until now you learn at least two kind of requests. Okay. The first request you use the Django, and you use the request from Django. And then second, you use the REST framework. So you use the REST framework to request into the data. And the third we are going to learn, which is the XML HTTP request. So there are many ways actually to access the data from the front end to the server. Now let's see the third way. We can connect from the browser using the XML HTTP request, send the HTTP request to the server. So we will process the HTTP request and respond back to the browser. And whenever we go to the browser, we need to process the written data using JavaScript. Okay, so that's the difference. When you use Django, then you will use the Python and SQL. When you use the REST framework, it means you use the REST framework. And sometimes you use the Python to handle the communication. But when you use the XML HTTP request, you will use JavaScript. So the options is on the developers. What kind of language do you want to use? First, you need to understand what is the meaning by parse. Parse means we want to write and read. This is the common definition of parse. We want to write and read the file, in this case XML or JSON, and change the format into other relevant format. For example, if I have an XML, I want to change it into a table. Then I can say I want to parse the data from XML into table. Or I want to change from table into JSON. Then I can say I want to parse the data table into JSON. So parsing method is necessary to view the file, either XML or JSON, in a representative way. So when you have the tree, so XML and JSON, it is a type of tree. So if it is in the tree, people may not understand correctly. Maybe only you, okay? Only the developer understand. Only the programmer understand. But the user, they don't understand. So we need to change the XML or JSON into the proper way for the users. That's why we call it parsing. So parsing XML JSON refers to the method to write and read those files. And in addition, the conversion between the two files are also considered as parsing. So for example, you change the XML to JSON, JSON to XML. Parsing is also referring to showing the result in a proper format. For example, yeah, you change the XML to table, you change the XML to HTML, you change JSON to HTML, and so on. So we can also mention that as parser or parsing. Now, let's get back to the original JSON file, okay, before we go to the web. Suppose I have a JSON file and I want to read it. Okay, I want to read this JSON file so I can view it into the web. So how we can view it into the web? Now in the views.py, in the folder post, let's put this code. Okay, and the views.py, in the folder post, let's put one more, which is this one. So I'm going to use JSON, and then I would like to check what is the OS, which is the operating system. I hope it is correct because some of you use Mac. Okay. So I'm using this one. If your OS is Mac, they will try to find where is the location of your folder. So if my computer it is Windows, so it is also finding where is the file that I created. So in this case, I'm going to access to the JSON file, the book JSON file, where the book data JSON file is located in the folder testing data. In the folder testing data. Oh, but I need to change this one because my project name is Django Project 6. Okay. So please check what is the project name in your computer because my project name is Django Project 6. So I need to change this one. So I change this one into the project name. So the project name is Django Project 6. So depending on your project name, change it according to your project name. And then let's append a new URL. So you can put this one a new URL in the urls.py. In the urls.py, uh, so there is an error. We need to get the, oh, okay. You need to import this one. Okay. So you need to import this one in order the Python file to understand that you're going to use the JSON view in the folder, in this current folder and in the views.py. Okay. So you need to add this one. And then whenever I click on the JSON view, I will do the JSON view. So actually you can have also another option like this one, views.json view. This one, and then you can stop this. So it is the same. Okay. I just want to have a different way. So in this case, I need to have the import function. Okay. If you finish with those, let's try to look at the result. Oops. Ah, I have double this one. Then I need to remove this. Okay. I need to remove this so it will be only the testing data. Let's see. Okay. So the file here, it means I cannot put the project name. I'm sorry. Maybe, yeah, if I input the project name, as you can see, if I include the project name, there will be error. What error did you see? Django project 6 and then Django project 6. So they cannot find the file because the location of the testing data is not correct. So I use the project name 2 times. So it means I need to remove 1 time and I remove it from this one. So I just remove this one. If I remove this one, then it will be correct. Okay. So it access the data from the book data.json and it shows like this one. So this is the JSON that we just created in the first hour of our class. So if you have the JSON data in your computer, you can get the data and then you can show it in your web. And then you can, yeah, click on the pretty print. Yeah, if you click this pretty print, then you can show in the tree. If you don't click this one, it will show in one line like this. Now, we need to have another kind of way to parse the XML or JSON into different format. Now, I'm not sure in my computer it will work or not, but let's say I'm using this one pip install with parser. Uh, I hope it is working well. Mm, I will use in the terminal. Okay, I already have the fit parser in my computer. So for you, yeah, please install. If you are the first time to use the fit parser, please install it in your computer. So install the library before we go to the next slide. So this example will use a library, we call it feeder. It is from the fit parser, so it will be able to convert any file that you read into another format. Now, I'm going to use a website. Okay. So I cannot find any website that can be extracted easily. So let me just use this is a random website. So we want to use this website. If you look at this one, if you look at this code, so if you go to the website, this is an XML. Okay. So this XML, of course, it is difficult for you to look at the details. Actually, this is a block, and this block has been written in the feed. Okay, we call it this is feed. That's why we want to parse the feed, and the library name is feed parser. So if you look at the plot, so this is the plot. Okay. So I'm just using any random plot. So this is the plot from this guy, and actually they because he give the feed easily, okay. So he gave the post and comment, so you can know the feed, and then you can get the data. So some of the website they give this kind of feed. In that case, you can extract the data easily from the feed. So let me just use this feed, okay. And I'm going to use this feed and I want to put it into the views.py. So I'm using the function and I'm putting into the file like this one. Oh, feed parser here. Okay, anyway, I will install this one again in the PyCharm. I don't know why it is not connected to the. Okay, now it is working fine. We have the feed parser. And the feeds that I want to use is from the, yeah, I'm using the feed parser. I want to parse from this website because this website provides the XML and I want to collect the data. And collecting the data is not difficult. And I want to put it into the viewfeed.html. So viewfeed.html means, yeah, okay. This example use two newsfeed. The first newsfeed is from a blog, and the other is using the ESPN official site. So I will show the example about this one later. Now, let's put the link. Okay. Let's put the link of the viewfeed. Let's put the link of the viewfeed into the URLs. Okay. There is an error because you need to connect this one viewfeed. And after you have this viewfeed on the URLs, you can make a new HTML. So, HTML file will be in the template folder. So the template folder, you need to have the viewfeed.html. In the templates folder, you can make a new HTML file. You can put the viewfeed.html and then let me make just very simple. Okay, let me make a very simple HTML. So I don't use any tag. I don't use any HTML. I don't use any body. I don't use any title. I don't use table and etc. I will just use for loop. Okay. So I hope you understand until now. This is a for loop. And then I'm going to use the fit. So what is the fit? So we will take a look after this one. Uh, okay, everything is good. Then let's look at this one. So I'm going to show the view fit. Oops. Oh, no module name fit also. Okay. Okay, I need to stop and then I need to run again. Okay, now let's see. Yep. So this is the view fit. I can extract any website. Okay, so I extract from the blog and then I put it into my website. So I don't need to control those blog. I just use their XML. Now, what does it mean by this one? If you look at this HTML file, we have the fits dot entries. What does it mean? This is a dictionary. The dictionary is from the parse. So let's look at this fit. Is the fit. Yeah. So from this fit, we collect all this data, okay, and we are making a dictionary from this fit. And the first that we want to use is the from this fit, we want to show the link. Okay. So from the entry, so we have the entries. It means I want to do iteratively from the fit from the block. And let's check the link. So where is the link? You need to check the link data. In this case, this is the link. Okay. This is the link. And if you go down, you can see the link. Okay. Now, if you look at this link, there will be a value. So this is the link. And what is the title? The title is Thank You from John family. Okay. Now, because I know that this is the tag, I know that this is the tag from this title, and I know this is the tag from link. I'm going to use this data into my website. So this is the title. Thank you from John and family. So if I click this one, now it shows to the blog. So it means I can connect my website with another website automatically based on the feed. So if you understand this one, this is a list, okay? And in the list, I'm going to make a it's ref. This is a reference from the HTTP. And whenever I have this link, I will make a target blank. What is target blank? So I am going to open a new tab and then I will show this link. So the title will be shown here. So whenever I click, I will make a new tab and then it goes to this link. So for example, yeah, the second, it is a prayer from John's highest good. So if you click, then you go to this blog automatically. Okay. Now let's change this one into the different example. So in the views.py, I have another example. The first example is using the block, and the second example is using the ESPN. Now let me close the first one. If I close the first one and if I open the second one, now let's see. The ESPN, XML contain the same format. Okay, we have link, we have title, we have link, we have title. So in this case, the link is this one, and then the title is this one. So if I run with this link, then I can get all the lists from the ESPN. And let's say I want to see this news, NBA playoff takeaways. So if I click, then it opens the news automatically. So I can see the news. So it is the source. So the idea is the same. We just look at the link where they provide the feed. In this case, we just provide where the ESPN provide the feed. So if you can find the feed, then you can just put into your web and then post it. Okay. So you already, yeah, I already show you how to exchange the feed variable to the other link, which is ESPN. So most of the news feed will provide almost the same XML schema. So almost the same, but not always the same. So in general, yeah, each domain will have its own specification. So in this example, I use only two examples using the blog and the ESPN. And luckily, both of them, they use the same structure. But if the web use different structure, you need to analyze what is the proper data that you want to extract. So most of JSON are publicly available, just the same as the newsfeed using XML. So you can, yeah, JSON is more general and usually comes with their own specification. So various datasets using JSON are available. Yeah, maybe I show you some of them. So for example, in this case, you can see this is a JSON dataset. You can use if you need this dataset in JSON. Uh, let's say I want to see the movie. So I want to see the American movie. So this is the JSON data. So this is the movie title. It is produced. It was produced in 1900. This is another title. Boarding School Girls. It was produced in 1900, and so on. So they have a list of movies, and you can use this one. Okay, it is free, and you can put into your data, and then you can do something. So in many governments in the world now they try to share data, so you can reuse if you need that one. And also in Korea, yeah, as you know, you can get the data from the Konggong data. So you can also use this one and then you can reuse it in your website. Now I'm going to show you how we can apply this JSON external view with Ajax and simple data table. Now I'm going to show you about the datatables.net. Whenever you create a data, maybe you need to make the table like what you did in the mid exam. So you need to create the data and then you need to make a table. Yeah. But you don't need to make the table by yourself. I think in one course before the mid exam, I show you how to use the free data table. So you can leverage these free data tables. Okay, you can use these free data tables in order to show your data. So this data table is very fancy. It means you don't need to make a design. You can just use the design from them and then show it into your web. Now, yeah, using the data tables, we can add advanced interaction controls to the HTML tables with free and easy way. So the calling function will be something like this. So what is the document or what is the HTML that you are going to use? If it is ready, then we will use the data table into a kind of section in your HTML. Now let's see. I'm going to use a new HTML file. In this case, view.json.html. Let's put it into the views.py. Just close. There's so many files here. Okay, let me open the views.py. So I have a new link for the view JSON and it will connect to the view JSON.html. So I'm going to add this one into the URLs. So I'm adding this line into the URLs. And of course, you need to put this one, a new view JSON. Oops, sorry. View JSON. After I have the view JSON here, and then I can make a new HTML file. So this is the view JSON.html. View JSON.html. So I can make this one. So I hope by now you understand. This is a link to the Bootstrap. So in this case, I'm using the jQuery. So we will learn more about the jQuery. So this is the data tables. This is also a JavaScript. This is a CSS file. This is the style sheet. And this is the JavaScript from the data tables. I'm going to put it into a table. So there's a table and the ID is example. In the example, the book data that we have the title, we have the date, and we have publisher. So in the script or in the JavaScript, I want to connect to the data table. What I'm going to connect is from the document, I'm going to put this data table into the example. So where is the example? This is the example. And the data table will use the Ajax. What is this Ajax? So I'm going to use this JSON. So this is the JSON that I already created before. This is the JSON, the book data that we have. So we have book, we have the title, authors, date, publisher, and the data source is from the book. So the data source is from the book. What we are going to extract is the column which is title, date, and publisher. Okay, so I will skip the authors because it has multiple data. Maybe it will need some more complex structure. So let's just assume that I'm going to connect with the title, date, and publisher. So I'm going to put those of them into this table. So let's display it in this example. So let's see. I'll show this one into the view JSON. Oh, API for view JSON. Oh, sorry. This is should be in the small. Yep. Now we can see the data. So this data actually is from the JSON, and then the data has been formatted into a table. And we are using the Ajax. So we are using Ajax to connect to the JSON file. So it means I do not connect directly to the database. I use the JSON view in order to cut the JSON file and then show it into the table. Okay, I think I will stop here. So the remaining file, we will learn more about the REST framework next week. Okay. Any questions, comment? And I will stop.